Previously on the Game Show Reviewer.
Well, we're captured. As soon as we exit the Chronoskimmer's leap field, we'll drop back to normal time.
Sir, what's the atmosphere like out there?
No, sir. No. Don't you even think about it.
Unless you have any better options. Courtesy of the Tempest program.
I do hope you realize just how stupidly reckless that was. At least we've dropped out of subtime.
Well, the question is, where?
I know exactly where this is.
Oh, I do. And here we go again. Wondering where I am, dear viewers? Well, let's just call this soundstage the land of obscurity. And I think my review of this show should clear up things quite nicely.
And again, I must advise you, sir, that you're on your own for this one. The show is so obscure I can't even find a reference in my database.
You know, seriously, you'd think an aircraft built in 2251 would have an interface with Google.
Actually, I do, sir. But this is April 22nd, 1996, a bit before Google's time. I could tap into this era's version of the internet, but it's far more limited, and I doubt I'll be able to find anything on this show on it.
Figures. Now, who am I going to get to help me with this review? Well, maybe I can summon another internet reviewer here. Someone from, I don't know, 2013? Who reviews obscure material? I know. Just gotta remember the number.
Archive, you're on the air, caller.
Archive? As in the Oddity Archive? 55597. Oh! Okay, there's my problem. Oh, sorry, it was a wrong number. Maybe it'll work too. Hey, listen, my name is Captain... Actually, that's probably best you don't know. I'm the Game Show Reviewer, and I'm wondering, have you ever by chance ever heard of a game show called Shopping Spree?
Actually, I have. That's the one where they're running all crazy, like, through the supermarket and stuff, right?
No, that's Supermarket Sweep.
Okay, then. It's the one where they're running all crazy through the two-story mall set, picking out big prizes and stuff, right?
No, that's Shop Till You Drop. Well, maybe I should review that one sometime.
Well, in that case, I can't say I've seen that one before. Sorry.
Alright, well, sorry to bother you. Game Show Reviewer, over and out.
Okay, wait a minute, caller. You cannot call me just out of the blue asking me about some game show and then expect to just walk away from me, alright? And, seriously, Game Show Reviewer, come on. Who are you? Really?
Alright, jeez. Well, here's the Cliff Notes version. I have a mission, and that is to review the game show greats and the occasional duds. However, I think every once in a while we should talk about the really obscure ones. And if you've ever heard of this one, count yourself among a very select few.
In the not-so-distant future, a time-traveling experiment known as the Tempest program was undergoing their first live trial. This did not go according to plan. Unknown to anyone, an extra-dimensional force, known by the call sign of Orion 3, seized control of the test aircraft, hurling plane and pilot off course and around time. Their mission, the complete destruction of Tempest One. Now, faced with incredible odds against him, the game show reviewer ducks in and out of time, still managing to review his favorite game shows while staying one step ahead of the evil forces, and all the while still hoping that his next leap will be the leap home.
Fancy little title sequence you got there.
I do what I can. Howdy y'all, I'm your game show reviewer, reviewing the game show greats and the occasional dud.
And I'm Ben from the Oddity Archive. So, Captain, you got your little fancy title sequence and stuff out of the way. So what is this game all about?
Alright Ben, starting from my last episode, I started looking at adult versus kid duck.
Why?
Malfunctioning title card, sorry. Well anyways, this game show basically amounts to an adult's version of a kid's game show. And what I mean by that is, whereas most adult game shows were more about, answer the question correctly and win $1 million, this one is truly an exception. Welcome to where dreams come true on Shopping Spree! As you may or may not be aware, I always consider the mid-'80s to be a golden era for game shows. We had masterpieces like Press Your Luck, Pyramid, and Scrabble to keep us company. I can safely say this, Shopping Spree was a game show right in line with those greats. It just had really lousy timing. The golden era really ended beginning in the early 90s, and this one just showed up a little too late. I mean, this is truly one of the more unique game shows I've ever seen. Well, looks like I have to eat my words from last time. Comparatively speaking, this show's grand prize wasn't really all that great or spectacular. It really did seem like it was much more fun to play than it was to win, just like the kid game shows we've been talking about. This stuff ain't half bad when barkeep properly.
Well, that's nice, but you still haven't answered my question. What is this show all about?
I was just getting to that, Ben. This is Shopping Spree. In an interesting turn, we start off with a fairly decent animation of two window shoppers and a narration of a, quote, perfect scenario.
What if every time you went window shopping, someone came along right after you and bought you everything you wanted? Sounds like a dream, we know.
We then reveal the main set for the show, first in animated, then in real form. The narration told us the premise of the show right there, window shopping. Unlike Supermarket Sweep, where you had a whole supermarket to purchase, or Shop Till You Drop, where you had a whole shopping mall to purchase, here you could only have what you see inside the storefront windows, which definitely explains the limited selection of prizes here. Think of it as a storyline within the game show. You're just bored window shopping, and suddenly someone comes along and purchases everything you wanted, but it has to be within that window. Well, anyways, let's move on and meet our host, Ron Pearson.
Thank you, Bert. Hey, everybody, let's say hello to this strangely dressed person, Charlie. Now let's say hello to this strangely dressed person, Gigi. Why don't you come on over?
Well, next up, we need to showcase the storefronts to the audience. And here we have another unique turn, as we see a randomly picked out member of the audience showcasing the storefronts. They're always named Denise or Dennis de Jour, but maybe not. Well, anyways, this is where every product on display gets its turn in the spotlight, with Ron Pearson himself instead of Burton Richardson, the show's announcer, doing the prize read-off, and usually adding a little note here or there for comic effect.
Heading over to Vinny's Secret. You've heard of Victoria's Secret. Well, we have the shop for the guy, Vinny's Secret. Cartoon boxers, Navajo robe, briefs and tees, and leather slippers. Now we'll head over to the other side of the street there. Oh, man, you're lively, Dennis. I like you. We got a department store.
Now, remember this from the intro?
Hey, everybody, let's say hello to this strangely dressed person over here, Keith. Now let's say hello to this strangely dressed person over here, Harvey.
No, they weren't sidetracked getting to the set of Let's Make a Deal. This is deliberate. The first two contestants had already picked out items from these stores, and they came to the show with various clues about themselves in an effort to make it easier for their teammate to shop for them. The catch is that they had no clue what the store or items were going to be, so they really just had to come up with stuff that defined their personality. But there was one more clue that they weren't wearing.
So we want you to freeze in a pose. And remember, this pose you use could also be a clue to your teammate. Do you have a pose ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Strike a pose. You okay? Okay, I like that.
This pose is predetermined by the player, and usually Ron will have a comical comment about it or two. Well, anyways, at this point we're introduced to the shoppers, people who have never met their teammate before. After a brief introduction, they're introduced to their teammate and usually asked about the pose they're locked in. Humor break: even if they guess correctly, there is absolutely no confirmation, and Ron will usually make some sort of counterpoint.
All right, now, everyone at home knows what this is. Susan, what do you think this pose is?
He's a winner at the Olympics.
Could be. Could be a winner at the Olympics. On the other hand, he might just want everyone to know that his antiperspirant works.
Wait a minute, is the host trying to throw off the contestants there?
Not really. He's just having a little fun with the poses, while at the same time, more importantly, trying to get the point across that while reviewing these clues, you should have an open mind. I trust my counterpart DJ Dylan here needs no introduction.
I think somebody might have spiked my pizza.
Alright, you know the drill, so on my count, Captain, 1, 2, 3, strike a pose!
You're going to operate an old train track shifting thing?
Could be, could be. On the other hand, maybe he's just really demanding when ordering at McDonald's. Give me my Big Mac!
Okay, whatever. So what happens now?
The shoppers are given 20 seconds to look over their teammate and try to get a grasp of the items they might want from the stores. After that time has lapsed, the teammates properly meet and greet for just a few seconds. The storefronts are illuminated, and we're off.
On your mark. Get set, Pree. Go shopping. Heading over to the ticket store.
You might take notice that the clock is counting upwards instead of down. This is because the first team is granted virtually infinite time to complete their shopping spree. However, just because they're not racing a limit doesn't mean that they should be slow. Their final time will be the limit Team 2 will be racing against. The shoppers would race out to the storefronts and pick out whatever they think the contestant wanted, rush back, yell it out for the cameras. Why? Because it's a game show. And if they were correct, it would get dropped, thrown, or otherwise deposited into the large shopping bag. Alternatively, if they were wrong, the penalty is they had to wait at the square until Ron finished reading off a fairly cheesy clue. After all 6 storefronts had been cleared, it's time for a commercial break.
When we come back, our second team will shop for the game and the right to go to the birthday party. Right after this, we have a record. I can't believe that.
Birthday party? What does that have to do with anything?
We're getting there. Well, anyways, since this is where the show put in a commercial break, we may as well take one too. We'll be right back.
Since when do you have ads on your show? Not to mention mid-rolls.
No comment, but then again, it's not like the Oddity Archive is ad-free either.
True.
And we're back! Ben, I lost my spot. Where are we?
First team just finished their shopping spree, remember?
Right, thanks. So anyways, as you probably guessed, the next part of the show pretty much follows the same format. The one and only difference is that the clock is now ticking down to 0, effectively making this team race against the clock. Oh yeah, and we also have the first team over there usually showing off their time. Well anyways, the winning team from this portion of the show would advance to the next round.
Escape this, and when we come back, we're going to play a game that will determine how much you can win at the birthday party.
Here we go with the birthday party thing again. What is it?
We're getting there, I promise. There was a second round between the main round of gameplay and the bonus round, and that was the Dennis or Denise du Jour Double Up Derby. Now this might sound like fluff to pad out the show's runtime, and okay, it's probably true, but let's take a look anyway. Dennis or Denise du Jour, as we said earlier, was a member of the studio audience picked out at random before the show began. Here, the spotlight is effectively turned over to them, making them a sort of phantom contestant. Remember that term, I don't think I'll ever use it again. Well, first off, Ron mentions that they'll get $100 regardless as their, quote, salary, and occasionally they'll have a comment about that written on a card.
Isn't that right? What is it? My parents would be so proud. Oh, mine too, Denise. I like that. I like that.
In the first season, the Dennis or Denise would pick an item from one of the 6 storefronts. In Season 2, one of the storefronts was redressed as a specialized du jour store. Well, either way, this game is played the same. The players are given an extremely brief bio on the day's Dennis or Denise, who would then take their place on the center square. The 2 teammates then had to decide which of the 4 items in the storefront Denise or Dennis chose. And I like the way the reveal is handled here, cutting back to the Dennis or Denise of the day and then pulling that picture into the item selected. A correct answer would grant the day's Dennis or Denise that prize, as well as double the grand prize money for the teammates. An incorrect answer? Yeah, I don't even have to say it.
You know what? When we come back, you guys are going to be playing for a fabulous trip and a $1,000 shopping spree for each of you at the birthday party right after this.
That was padding, wasn't it? Okay, game show guru, that's like the 4th or 5th time they've mentioned this birthday party thing. Are we ever going to get to that? I mean, they certainly couldn't give it any more build-up.
Well, this is true, and to be totally honest, it's not over yet. Well, coming back from the commercial, we're finally shown the grand prize. This is usually a trip to some far-off exotic place with a $1,000 or $2,000 shopping spree for each player, depending on how they did at the Double Up Derby. And then after that...
Is it finally time for that birthday party thing they keep mentioning?
Yes, Ben, it's finally time.
This better be good. So, what did they do? Did they finally use some other part of the storefront? Like, that ice cream parlor that's lurking in the back?
And now let's go to the birthday party!
I must say this, the first time I saw this show, this really caught me off guard. I mean, I had never, ever expected to see the entire set be pulling double duty as 2 sets. Very impressive.
Well, I guess there wasn't too much else they could have done with that Main Street set. Rest in peace, Main Street set.
Unfortunately, here's where the game's story-like premise is ditched, in favor of an equally unique premise. The news story is that this is a party for 7 different guests of honor, either celebrities or fictional characters. The idea is to match up items from the birthday board to the celebrity or fictional character that it's most associated with. Of course, some of those gifts are going to be duds, but it makes the round more fun. Ron usually got in some good doses of comedy reading off the items on the board.
Oh, look, I'm gonna fly. We have a nun's hat.
Oh, look. Oh, Jesus. Billy Barty in the 1st grade. Wait, Billy Barty in the 8th grade. Didn't change.
That's for Pampers. Oh, hey, something you'll never see. A biker in Pampers. Except for maybe Malcolm Forbes. But you never know.
One player is picking, the other is wrapping and delivering. The team had 1 minute and 15 seconds, or 75 seconds, to match up the 7 guests to 7 appropriate items. In the second season, another interesting obstacle was a line on the floor the picking player couldn't cross. Crossing this line would incur a 5-second penalty.
Edmund Hillary grabs the climbing
Oh,
picks.
go! Yeah, it's some celeb's cardboard cutout's birthday. Yeah.
Moby Dick. He grabs that leg, throws it to Susan. She's got nothing. She wraps it. Is this right? Yes! My word!
And of course, after all was said and done, our host Ron Pearson would sign off. Although in a twist, Ron would usually either start juggling some of the items from the board, or just have some fun with the contestants playing around with some of the items up there. It was definitely interesting to watch the show's ending credits, I'll say that. And now my final thoughts on this show. Did it deserve better? Yes, absolutely! This game show just came around too late in the waning of the golden era of game shows. You might remember this game show from the same era.
This is the winner's circle. This is where someone is guaranteed to win $100,000.
And that was a remake of a legendary show, and it didn't last much longer than this one. Shopping Spree has more of a cult following than anything, loved by those who remember how much fun it was. Like the kid game shows we've been talking about, it wasn't about the grand prize at the end, it was about having fun with the game itself. Had this show been on a major network in the mid-80s, it probably would have seen remake upon remake upon remake by now, and maybe even been in the same league as Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, Jeopardy, or even The Price is Right. I'm not gonna lie, this one ranks high on my list of favorite game shows, and I really wish it had a chance of being revived in the modern era. I mean, we have shows like Minute to Win It in 2013, we most certainly have room for a show like this. But unfortunately, all we can really do is remember a time when for just 30 minutes, dreams really did come true on Shopping Spree.
We hope you guys had a great time, and if you did, here's the good news. Tomorrow will be today all over again, except it'll be even more exciting next time on Shopping Spree. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, Ben, so that was Shopping Spree. I answer all your questions?
Well, all except for one question. Who are you? Seriously.
That was easy enough. I'm your game show reviewer, reviewing the game show greats and the occasional dud. I'll see you next time.
Or not. Well, thanks for calling the archive.
Oh, that was refreshing. Sarah, I'm up for some time travel.
About that, sir. Have you given any thought to how we're going to do this leap? No solar energy, no leap.
Well, can't we use the stage lights in here or something?
No way, sir. Although we might be able to use some of the electrical energy being pumped into the lighting grid. Or you could just stop and surrender.
I'm about to surrender, and well, guess what? I don't surrender without a fight.
Seriously, Captain? Your aircraft is disabled. You are at my mercy. I think it's time you realized it. Now then, before I begin with the destruction of your aircraft, I need just one thing.
Oh, do tell, Commander. I'd be so happy to accommodate you.
I want to talk with your hologram, face to face.
Yeah, like my AI, we didn't have the slightest...
Now, what is it your AI says? You summoned, Commander? I demand to know right now, why do you look like me? Look like you? What in this dimension makes you think I look like you? Okay then, who is your current avatar based on? Dr. Cindy Freeman, the creator of the Tempest One AI? Call it a default setting since your blasted virus corrupted my favorite avatar.
The hell, how close can it be? Captain, listen carefully. You? What the hell do you want? Shut up, Captain. I don't have a lot of time. While the ladies are arguing out there, I can still do this, but I need to ask you a question. I guess? The badge on your uniform. Is that the insignia of the Tempest program? What the hell kind of question is that? Of course it's a Tempest program insignia. It's painted all over this plane. Okay, sir. There's something you need to see.
So the question remains, why does your Dr. Freeman or whoever look like me? Can you give me a full bio on Dr. Freeman? Actually, I can. I assume you can access the Tempest One database, considering you've uploaded a virus to me already. You assume correctly. Have your AI download file 84w.wmy. That's a full record of Dr. Freeman and her work. It's heavily encrypted though, not even I've been able to decipher it. Your systems are probably too primitive to handle it. I should be able to decode it with ease. Orion, tap into Tempest One's database and begin to download file 84w.wmy. Once complete, begin to decode.
Download complete, Commander. Decryption in progress. I have to leave now, sir. I hope you understand what I just showed you. Good luck, Captain.
I have one last question for you. Are you trying to trick me with this file? I want you to think about that, Commander. If you were being held at gunpoint with your only resource being a disabled fighter plane and you had no other options but to comply with the enemy, would you really try anything stupid at that point? No. No, I suppose I wouldn't. Good answer. You just keep thinking that. No. That's impossible!
What the hell just happened?
Captain?
Sarah, what just happened? What did you do?
I used the remaining fuel plus any electrical charge I could spare to perform a short leap. Just before setting it in motion, I downloaded myself to your comm link so I can continue to advise you.
Well, good thinking, but, now we're completely powered down. We don't stand much of a chance against Stormer like this. Absolutely no fuel remaining?
None. And it gets better. She'll be able to track us down within 8 hours if my estimates are correct.
Great. So we have a non-leapable, non-flyable, non-functioning aircraft to defend. About as useful as having a Hollywood prop. Well, may as well see where we are. Sarah?
Oh right, I forgot. When the power levels are almost non-existent, the plane goes into a self-defense mode, locking the canopy and all access points. Don't worry though, we should have enough solar energy to disengage that protocol in about 4 hours. It's a safety protocol, really.
Yeah, I question the logic of a protocol that locks the occupant inside of a powered-down aircraft.
Somehow, sir, I doubt the designers of the Defender 2 class fighter considered time travel as one of the uses of their plane.
Oh, I guess you got a point there. So, 4 hours until this thing unlocks. What the hell am I supposed to do in the meantime?
Well, it is June 22nd, 1995, and we are near Nickelodeon Studios, Orlando, Florida. Sound familiar?
My first review. Well, I did say I wanted to talk about adult versus kids game shows. Oh, crud. I really gotta get that thing fixed. Alright. Well, there really is no better place to talk about my subject than, well, right here, to be honest. So, till next time, I've got one question. Do you have it? Here we go again.
Space Monkey Mafia Studios.